Hey there, and welcome to my first episode about building an online presence. This whole series is basically about my trying to become better at creating content on a broad variety of different platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and the like. I'm also trying to put up a website, and I'm documenting my progress there as well. Besides that, I'll try to document my progression in terms of audio or video, respectively image editing, and will hopefully be capable of imparting some of that knowledge to you. As it stands right now, I've not yet defined a clear goal of where I want to go with this series. I do know that I wish to be consistent with it, and I do know that I wish to improve my knowledge and my skills. Basically, I've planned on uploading a video each 2 weeks, where I'll talk a little bit about what I've done, and probably also be talking a little bit about what I plan on doing within the next time span of, probably 2 weeks. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into what I've accomplished thus far. Before I start all of this, I kind of planned what I wish my website to look like, because in my opinion, my website is kind of like the base. And yeah, so this is basically what I've written. Just a little kind of overview within Obsidian. After I've kind of structured my website in a basic way, I decided to go more into the designing process. I looked up different fonts and compared them, and yeah, also looked at how I wish them to look like, not only in terms of the style but also in terms of like the color and where I wish to have these colors apply to. These are the plugins that I've used. At first, at least, I've changed a little bit, because later on I've changed the anti-spam plugin because the trial period ended for this one, and I've gotten another one. I've downloaded the ThemeCore Pro version. It's basically like a website builder. A few years ago, I've already dabbled a little bit in building a website, so I've got a little bit of knowledge there, but really only rudimentary. Apart from that, yeah, this is how it looks like. I've unpacked it, and installed everything. Yeah, this was just the bare bones of the website. I've decided to structure it. As you can see, there's a home button, and there's new here. The current challenges, basically things such as building up an online presence or sorting out my life, which are the tabs that can be found within this drop-down menu. Recommendations, archives, and debate. These are just things that I need to flesh out a little bit more. But for me, what was important was that I've got the basic structure down. I've started writing a little bit about it. I've started with the privacy policy. I've got it from a website, but I still need to look over it a little bit more and maybe change it a little bit in the future. These are like the tabs or rather pages of my website. Still only like rudimentary. Here I've shown you how I've kind of designed that. These are tabs that I've decided to edit with Cornerstone later on, but these were just like in the beginning. I've just decided to edit it within WordPress, but then I've noticed that I need to edit it with Cornerstone. Cornerstone is basically like the sort of website builder of ThemeCore. Alright, I'll show you a little bit about the whole process. So yeah, there's like, you can choose a layout, you can choose sort of like different types of designs, or rather how you want to structure the website. I'll skip a little bit further into it. So yeah, this is just like the sample site of the challenges. Basically, I've wanted to create a standardized layout of how I wish these sites to look like, these pages. I've also, as you can see on the right hand side, I've decided to use Obsidian once again because, as you know, I've planned my website there, and I've used it as a basic orientation. But the further I've got into designing my website, the more I've noticed that I'm actually straying from what I've written in there. And this is generally like a tip for you, or rather my experience. It's important to kind of structure it out, but really detailed things are not that necessary at the beginning in my experience, because when you get into actually working on the website, then you notice many things that you just can't notice from simply writing out what you wish your website to look like. So yeah, let's jump a little bit further. So I've decided to name these blocks a little bit. Once again, I've changed the layout later on, but you'll see that. Yeah, just like how it works. Latest progression paste, the layout there, direction, like it's really versatile. The whole theme is really versatile. I've decided to kind of implement a sort of latest post structure, like a segment, so to speak, but of course it's still empty, and it will take a little bit of time until it becomes filled. Yeah. So moving on, this is like, if you've seen my video sorting up my life, this is basically my trying to flesh out the thumbnail within Affinity Photo. Here's a little bit of the process. Yeah. So that's how it's really basic. I've decided to kind of take a few photos there. These two are like pictures from the internet, and the full one was one which I've taken from myself. Yeah, so I've just kind of resized it and ordered it in this way. It's really basic, and I do wish to, of course, improve these skills in the future. But for me right now, it's just important to kind of get into the mode of actually creating something, and to kind of find my own balance between improving myself in a continuous way, and whilst not burning out, considering my other obligations. But I'm quite happy with how it's going right now, and yeah. So moving on a little bit further, this is how I've created the video. I'm using DaVinci Resolve, great program, it's free, highly recommended. And yeah, this is just like the cutting process. I haven't really done that much. I've entered a little bit of a text there in order to like kind of edit something in terms of something that I said wrongly within the old video. Yeah, so this is how I'm basically filming it, what's going on in the background, and this is how the Helm template looked like after my well, changing it a little bit. You can see this is a grid and the background. This is also a standardized layout. I've decided to rely on these a little bit because I do wish to get my website up and running as soon as possible, and to fill it with content as soon as possible, so I cannot be too picky about how I wish to design my website. As of right now, of course, I do wish it to look great, or good, somewhat professional, but yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time at the beginning of this whole series with that. So yeah, I've decided to go with a simple CSS grid, like 3 different sort of headlines about what my website is going to be about, or rather what this whole channel is going to be about. This will be changed a little bit in the future. There I've also used some standardized layouts, like sorting up my life, building an online presence, building a knowledge database, and learning how to DJ. These are, by the way, the categories that I'm dealing with, and these are the types of content that you can expect on my channel for the future. So yeah, a little call to action. I will link this one with a to the newsletter. this is intended to be a placeholder for links to my social media platforms, but it just needs to be fleshed out in the future. So yeah. This is the sample site of the different challenges. As I've talked to you about, as I've told you before, if you press on this tab, then you'll open up a drop-down menu, and when you press on one of these points that will open up, then you get to this site, or rather to these sites. It's still really basic and in the early stages, but once again, this is just the fleshing out of the basic idea, and the improvement will be continuous from there on. So yeah, latest posts, then like tips where I wish to impart the knowledge onto you, like different types within the challenge, or rather different tips of related to different areas within the challenge. And there are some headlines, and yeah, this is how I've decided to change it later on. Yeah, just a little tryout of the categories. As you can see, I've also, like, in comparison to, this is like how I've designed the home. I've used the layouts with different types of areas. I've defined them to be 20% times 5, so that's basically a whole of 100%, meaning that, like, this is how you work within Themeco. Basically, you define the width of each of these little segments, and then you can put some content into there. These are the columns. Moving on, I've already decided to input a little bit of content into my website. So basically, like writing about the site. This is what you'll find within the tab new here. Just a little heads up about the website and what's going on there, so that new visitors will know where to find what. Moving on, yeah, this is where I've changed it up a little bit. As you can see, this picture is kind of intended to be a representation of a smartphone screen, but I've changed this up. Later on, I've edited it out, so it's just like this frame. Yeah, I further fleshed out the website in regards to this area. Like, there are the tips, then there are goals which I need to define, and also milestones which serve as a kind of overview about what has happened in a more succinct form. And last but not least, once again, the website, how it's looking right now, more specifically in terms of the new here page. So this is pretty much, this has been kind of well, kind of good, fleshed out. Like, I've written a lot there, but of course I'll need to fine tune it. But yeah, I'm quite content with how it's going. So yeah, this is just a rough overview about what has happened within the last few weeks. As you can see, I've kind of established my website, established in terms of lining it out in a rough way. I've written a little bit within the website. I've created 2 videos, with this one being the second, first one being sorting out myself. I'm starting to get familiar with DaVinci Resolve, the video editing program. I'm also starting to get more familiar with Affinity, into like the photo editing software, and yeah, I'm quite content how it's going right now. Of course, I do wish to bring more structure into these videos in the future, but as I've mentioned before, for me, it's really important right now to just kind of get used to the basic process, to kind of see how I can maintain this whilst dealing with other obligations outside of the internet. So, well, thank you for your attention, and see you next time.